Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Structure of an Amoeba. Amoeba are classified as protozoan and they are single-celled organisms or animals. We want to look at the structure of the amoeba. Amoeba proteus is a microscopic living organism, and it consists of a single cell. It has different parts or structures, which includes the cytoplasm. It has got a nucleus, cell membrane, and a variety of inclusions in the cytoplasm. When you look at it, it's about 0.3 millimeters across. That is, from one end to another, it is approximately 0.3 millimeters. They inhabit at the bottom of freshwater bodies. They can be ponds, lakes, but with fresh water. And they exhibit all the essential functions of any living organism. And when we are talking of the essential functions, we are talking about those processes that are carried out by multicellular organisms. They can grow, they do feed, they breathe, they reproduce, excrete. All of it is within the cell through certain parts of the cytoplasm that are specialized to carry out those specific special functions. Though you find that it is a single-celled organism or single-celled animal, but it can carry out all those processes that are carried out by multicellular organisms. Whereas if you look at the multicellular organisms, for the multicellular organisms, these ones, they carry out their living processes by means of specialized organs and tissues. For example, the digestive system, you have the nervous system, muscular system. So multicellular organisms, they will need these specialized organs to carry out those specific functions. But when you are talking about the amoeba, you will see that it is a single cell carrying out all those life processes like feeding, breathing, reproduction, excretion, and so on and so forth. Now, when we look at the different structures or parts of the components of the amoeba, one of them is the cell membrane. And when you look at the cell membrane, this is the structure which is surrounding the cell. That outer layer is the cell membrane that surrounds all around the amoeba. And its function, it controls the entry and exit of substances into and out of the cytoplasm. So all the materials, they will enter through the cell membrane. Those ones which are going in and those ones that are going out, all of them, they pass through the cytoplasm, cell membrane. And that is one part of the amoeba. Then another part of the amoeba is the cytoplasm. When we talk about the cytoplasm, it is all that area that is found within the cell membrane. That inside part is what we refer to as the cytoplasm. Now the cytoplasm, it has two parts. It has the ectocytoplasm and the endoplasm. The cytoplasm is a living substance, and it is in this substance where all the chemical reactions are going to take place that are necessary for the life processes. The cytoplasm, we have said, it consists of the ectoplasm. And this one is a clear gel-like layer which is enclosing the endoplasm. So we have the cytoplasm divided into different layers. And the outer layer, this layer which we are seeing outside, is what we are calling the ectoplasm, the one that we are finding outside of the cytoplasm, but within the cell membrane. Then the part that we are seeing inside, all this part inside now is what we are calling the endoplasm. So that's what makes up the cytoplasm. Now we have another part which we are calling the nucleus. This central part here is our nucleus. And the nucleus, this one controls most of the reactions taking place in the cell. And it plays a vital role or a vital part in cell division. So it is through the nucleus that cell division takes place. Then the organism can multiply in number. Then we have the food vacuum. We have the food vacuum. Here, it's where we have our food vacuum. The food vacuum, these are microscopic organisms, very small, and are taken into the cytoplasm with drop of water. So what happens is that we might be having some microorganisms outside, and those small microorganisms will be taken into the cell. And when they are taken into the cell, we shall end up forming what we are referring to as the food vacuum. But they will enter the cell via the drop of water. Now, once these organisms are in the cytoplasm, what is going to happen is that they will form what we are referring to as temporary vacuole. They will enter into the cytoplasm, and when they enter into the cytoplasm, they form smaller substances, structures that we can call the food vacuole. And once the microorganisms are in the food vacuole, these microorganisms are going to be digested. They will be digested once they are inside the food vacuole. Then another structure that we have is the contractile vacuole. The contractile vacuole, the structure that we are having here, and you find that the concentration of the solutes in the cytoplasm is always greater than the surrounding fresh water. So inside the cytoplasm, we have a higher concentration compared to the surroundings. So there is a high concentration of solutes inside the cytoplasm compared to the surrounding fresh water. So what is going to happen? Water will tend to enter into the cytoplasm by osmosis. So the water now will be moving from outside. It will move from outside and it will be entering into the cytoplasm. And when it enters into the cytoplasm, it will be entering by the process of osmosis, because the concentration of the solute in the cytoplasm is much greater than the concentration of the solute in the surrounding fresh water. So water will enter into the cytoplasm by means of osmosis via the semipermeable membrane. Now this excess water, when it enters into the cytoplasm, what we are going to see, we shall see that it will form what we are calling the contractile vacuole. It will enter into the contractile vacuole, and this one is going to start swelling. And when it swells, then now we have what we are referring to as the contractile vacuole. Then when it already swells, or it has swollen, what is going to happen is that it will discharge the content outside of the cell from time to time. So it is one of the ways in which it excretes some of those excess water from the cell, and then it releases it to the outside environment. So you'll find that the water which has entered into the contractile vacuole will now start going outside of the cell via the contractile vacuole. We have another structure, and that structure is called the pseudopodia. The pseudopodia is a section of the amoeba which protrudes from the surface of the amoeba into which the cytoplasm flows. So this protrudence that we see is a type of outside the movement of the amoeba, and that protrudence, when it extends or it protrudes, the cytoplasm will flow in that protrusions or protuberance. And when the cytoplasm flows in that direction, now the amoeba will start moving about in the mud at the bottom of the bottom. So pseudopodia means a false foot. It uses this protrudence as a means of movement. So when it is moving around, it will use this protrudence, and the cytoplasm will enter into that protrudence. And when the cytoplasm enters into that protrudence, now it means all the behind part is going now to be moving in the front direction. So that one now becomes like a foot. So we talked about water entering into the cell of the amoeba by osmosis, and this is the movement of water molecules from a weak solution to a stronger solution, and this is always through a partially permeable membrane. So we saw that when water moves out and it enters into the cell, it is moving by a process of osmosis, and it is moving from a region where there is weak concentration, area where there is weak concentration of the solution, to an area where there is a high concentration. Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for participating in the structure of the amoeba. Please do like, share, and subscribe.